up, everybody? What's good? My name is EK and welcome back to What's Good English, the channel where I talk about African American vernacular, slang, and colloquial English so you can understand how English is really spoken. I remade the original video that I made about African American vernacular, so now both the Habitual B and Zero Copula have their own standalone videos with better explanations in my opinion, as well as more contextual examples. Now, in that original video, I also talked about how we replace almost every occurrence of the word have with the word got in the present tense. And I do plan on making a video about get and got in the future, but right now I want to cover one of the questions that I got asked many times on other social media, which is how do you negate in the present tense of African American English without using is or are. Now, I did make a community post about this on my YouTube page as well as on my Instagram. There's a little infographic that you can check out if you follow me on that particular social media account, or if you just want to check out my community page here. Anyways, here we go. If you want to negate something in standard English, you would say something like they are not late or sleeping, or she is not late or sleeping, or I am not late or sleeping. Now remember, in African American vernacular, am works exactly like it does in standard English, so it stays put. However, in African American English, we don't say is or are, and in the case of negation, in this sentence, we would just delete is and are and say they not late or sleeping, or she not late or sleeping. The other standard English option would be the contraction, which would be they aren't late or sleeping, she isn't late or sleeping, or I aren't late or sleeping. Now I know right now a lot of y'all are like, "Amped ain't no word, man." Where do y'all think ain't comes from? Amped is a valid contraction for am not from the 1600s. Am, just like is and are, got a contraction, and that contraction became ain't sometime in the 1700s, and from there it found many more uses beyond just meaning am not, unlike its siblings, which never really mastered the art of versatility. By the way, according to thesaurus.com, amped is still spoken in Ireland and Scotland. It is possible that Black English picked it up from there because, as John McWhorter pointed out in his book about Black English, after listening to hundreds of hours of former enslaved peoples, that old AAVE sounded a bit like Scottish. And while I'm on this tangent, there are a few other words that I know of that made their way into AAVE from other languages. Youngin, the Dutch word for boy, for example, is a word that we often use to describe young people. Hey, you see those youngins over there? Now, in that same vein, buckaroo is a word that made its way in from the Spanish word vaquero, meaning cowboy. Oh yeah, I learned that from Uncle Mac the other day. Did you know the first cowboys was black? Yes. While nobody really uses the word buckaroo anymore, we do still say things like, oh man, when I was a young buck, or you see those young bucks over there? And before somebody comes to me in these comments about the whole first Cowboys line, let me tell you this. Boy was and still can be used derogatorily to refer to black men. This goes all the way back to slavery times, and in those times, a white man on horseback wrangling cattle was known as a cowhand, while a black man on horseback wrangling cattle was a cowboy. Let's get back to these contractions. They aren't, she isn't, I aren't. Okay, nobody is really saying amped in America, but you can probably guess, because I went on this entire tangent about ain't and where it came from, that we replace isn't and aren't with ain't. And I don't think I can really make a full-blown episode about this with tons of examples, but I might do like a short or a TikTok video about it and then post it. Hey, you not making a sketch or nothing so they can see how it works? I think the video works alright with just the explanations though, man. Like, they not gonna think I'm cheating them out of showing them how it works in real life, man. Like, they ain't expecting like a grand production or something like that. I mean, you the one said that your idea for this channel was to do some like vaguely comedic sketches with real contextual examples so people could understand how the stuff works in real life. And if you're not making one for this video, I can kind of understand it, but like, then you ain't holding yourself to the standards that you already set. Alright, I might got like another idea. There are a couple of exceptions. It is one of those exceptions. A sentence like it not working or it not here is incorrect. It cannot be used with not. It only works with ain't. It ain't working, or it ain't here. If you want this championship, you gotta be hungry, and you not hungry.
I am hungry, coach.
No, you not. You not hungry. You know how I know you ain't hungry? Because you've been in this game 22 minutes, and you got 3 points. 3 points. And they came from 3 separate free throws.
Why you bringing up old stuff like that?
Another thing that is super tricky, which would absolutely drive you insane if you were, for example, in an African American English class and you had to learn this concept. You can use not when you start your sentence with that universally. That building not tall, that snake not poisonous, that's completely fine. But if you're starting your sentence with a or the, your tone is everything. You cannot, for example, just say a snake not poisonous or the snake not poisonous. You have to have the tone for that. For example, if I was arguing with a friend, I would say, come on man, the snake not poisonous, just pick it up. And it's perfectly fine. But if I just say something like, I think the snake not poisonous, that doesn't sound right. You have to use ain't there. Or if I said, hey man, a lobster not a mammal, that's completely fine. But if I'm just making a blanket statement like a lobster not a mammal, doesn't sound right. Your tone here is everything. One more thing before I'm done here, because I've seen this comment many times on my TikTok video about zero copula in African American vernacular, and that is people saying that is and are denote the tense and denote that it is happening in the present, and without them the sentence will not make sense. However, if you 100% of the time when you're speaking about something that happened in the past use were or was, like I was there, they were there, and you 100% of the time when you're speaking about the future use will be, like I will be there or they will be there. And even when you're speaking about a hypothetical situation that doesn't actually exist, and you would say something like if I were there or if they were there, then when you're speaking about the present tense, you don't really need is and are. It will be obvious, especially when a version of this particular English already exists and is spoken out in the wild. So they are unnecessary. That is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you liked it, please smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. Also, if you want to, you can follow me on other social media. I do not repost all the videos that I make on TikTok and Instagram here. So if you want to see everything, you'll have to follow me on other accounts. Anyways, once again, you all are amazing. I really appreciate that you are here with me on this journey, and I will catch y'all on the next episode. Ciao.